So this amp, the Bogner Ecstasy, pretty much defined how 90s rock bands sounded. What is that amp? What does it do? And what is that 90s guitar sound? I'm going to show you now. Let's go. Alright everybody, welcome back to another video. Before we get into the 90s guitar sounds with this Bogner Ecstasy right next to me, let me plug my guitar courses real quick. If you like what you're hearing on this channel, and if you want to improve your guitar playing, check out my guitar courses. They're in the description down below, and they cover a wide range of topics. Besides that, please subscribe, it helps out the channel, and I'm doing that stuff all the time, so if you enjoy that, subscribe, bell icon, there we go. Thank you. Okay, so 90s guitar sounds were very, very different than 80s guitar sounds. In the 80s, you had all these bands trying to get the most polished, the most tidy guitar sound you could ever have. It meant you would have pristine, crystal clear, clean sounds with a lot of chorus, a lot of reverb, delays, a lot of processing going on. And the lead sounds and all the dirty sounds would be very polished, very compressed, super tight in the bass, and that made that 80s sound. But then in the 90s, new bands were coming up, like Stone Temple Pilots and Alice in Chains and Pearl Jam and Soundgarden and many, many more. And these bands had a different sound in mind. Basically, the flavor changed from super compressed and tight and polished to huge, big, greasy, and loose. These bands were pretty much looking for the exact opposites of the 80s guitar sounds. The 80s sound was dated, and the 90s bands needed something new. And something new they got when Reinhold Bogner, originally from Germany, just like I am, moved to LA and became part of the guitar scene in Los Angeles. Reinhold was one of the famous Marshall modders. He was able to turn JCM 800s in absolute high-gain beasts with something he called the snorkeler, and a lot of players like that. But in the beginning of the 90s, he wanted to have his own design in a head shell that wasn't based on an actual Marshall. He wanted to have his own original amp design, and this is what became the Bogner Ecstasy. The Bogner Ecstasy was released in 1992, and it was exactly what a lot of guitar players wanted. You know, a sound like this. Which, as you can hear, had nothing to do with the typical 80s sound. It's not tight, it's loose. It's not pristine sounding, it's pretty woody sounding. But it has a very, very nice dynamic range. And every note that you play has so much weight to it. There's so much low-mid content in every note that you're playing. So the type of high-gain sound people wanted totally changed when the Ecstasy came out. It was a lot darker sounding, a lot more warm sounding, and not as pristine. It's not as processed, it's a little bit more raw. But what made the Ecstasy perfect was that it wasn't just like a high-gain beast. The Ecstasy was designed, and is designed to this day, to cover all sorts of sounds with 3 different channels. You have the green channel. Look at that. Like, look at that. Which other amp in the 90s could do that? They didn't even have the cell phone back then, but when you switch channels, it would switch LEDs. Look how cool that looks. It's amazing. So you have the green channel, which is the clean channel, and the clean channel does this. A little bit of delay. That's a very usable clean channel, and it's a lot better than anything that Marshall could do at the time. So that already was a huge improvement to a Marshall kind of circuit. But the real magic with the Ecstasy happens with the blue and the red channel. So the blue channel is the mid-gain tone, and to me is the absolute best sound in this amp. A lot of players love and cherish the red channel for what it is, because it has that typical Jerry Cantrell, Kim Tahil Soundgarden high gain sound. However, the blue channel is where the magic is at, I feel like, because listen to this. You know, super dynamic, a lot of weight under each note. It feels liquid. It really is. It feels like something is dripping from your fingers when you're playing the blue channel. That's the only way I can describe it. You know, you go over the strings, and it kind of feels like it plays for you. It's so easy to play. And then the best thing about the Ecstasy is you can boost all these channels. On this 50-watt model, you can only boost the blue and the red channel, but on the big Ecstasy, the one that came out in 1992, you could boost all these channels. And the boost on the blue channel just elevates that already incredible sounding blue channel to another level. There's just no other amp in the market that does that. This is an all-time classic sound. In fact, here's a classic song that was recorded with one of these. And that is exactly what the 90s guitar sound is. It's a high gain sound, but it's woody sounding. It's chewy in the mid-range. It's not too tight in the bottom. And it just becomes absolutely sleazy and badass when you tune down your guitar. The 90s just ruled, man. I hope you learned something today, and I hope you liked this video. If you do, subscribe. I've been Joey, and I'll see you in the next one.